Hey guys, what's good? What is poppin'? So, I'm back with another propagation video because, clearly, I can't help myself. I just love propagating plants. I love plants. I love having more plants. I love having new plants. You name it. I love it. So, today, I'm just going to be talking about some propagations, a little catch-up, and you can see if you're interested in what I'm propagating and what I'm talking about and and whatnot. So let's get into it. So today I'm going to be propagating the Scindaptus pictus, which I don't know if it's a philodendron or a pothos, but it's so beautiful. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but these leaves actually are like glitter. Like in real life you can see it, but it is a pothos, I think. You can tell with philodendrons, like this one. Can you see it? No. Anyway, that's hanging up, so I'm not going to take it down. So I'm just going to propagate some of these. I've got a Monstera pinnipitiara or something. I don't really know how you say it, but I've got one of these to propagate. So as you can see, this has some good aerial roots as it is. And then we're going to be propagating, well, trying to rescue this propagation. This was of a red arrow philodendron, which was such a beautiful plant, and if you put it up a nice moss pile, it grows and it just looks stunning. But this is all I've got left. It was a 3-leaf cutting, and I just had to cut the end off of it because it was rotten. So guys, honestly, propagations, like, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And you know what, that's what I love, and they're so easy. So today I'm going to be propagating in some Sphagnum Moss. The Sphagnum Moss I'm using is the live Sphagnum Moss from Pets at Home. It doesn't have to be live. I've used dried before and it's worked fine, worked normal. So I just use these plastic cups, guys, and if you're like all about the plants, some people I know, they love pots and they like the pots about the plants. Me, I don't care. I love the plants themselves. Plastic cups, I think I paid about fucking £1 for 50, and this is what we've got going on. So this is what I'm using as a plant pot. So you can use soil for these propagations, or water. I'm going to use Sphagnum Moss just because I could prefer it. And this Pipinitiera, I don't actually know how you say it, so please somebody correct me. But I had this in water and the roots started to rot. Some plants just don't work in water, and that's fine. Who's bothered? So let's get on to potting up some plants. I'll just be here talking about it all night. So I'm just going to take some sphagnum and pop it in this glass, this cup or whatever. And I think I have a bit of dirt in my eye. Ow! And the live Sphagnum Moss from PetSmart has these sharp spiky things in there, and I don't love it. So what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to like separate all this moss. And the one from PetSmart is really, really soaking wet. It's sold as live Sphagnum Moss. It's meant for your reptiles and stuff. I honestly don't know the difference. All I know is this cost me £7, and I could have bought 3 bricks, like this cocoa fibre brick that expands in water and gives you about 90 litres of product. I could have bought 2 for the price of that. How much has it got in there? 50 grams of Sphagnum Moss. Okay. But it was just there, and I had to do a refund, and I just picked that up because I thought I don't need anything for my animals. So let me just get some stuff for my plants that I could use. So I'm literally just filling this cup up with some sphagnum. That's not ideal because you can't see my actual. Maybe if I do this. I don't really know what to do. But you get it. I'm literally just placing the Sphagnum Moss in here. I'm going to take this bit actually out. And then pop a little bit more in there. And then just get a basis. And then get your propagation. And, will it fit in the cup? Yeah, we're fine. We are good. And then, so obviously it's half filled. And then just fill the rest up This is the Pippin Tiara. I've never actually owned one of these plants. I have a Monstera Peru, but these plants are really hard to care for. Hard? I need to get to bed. These plants are really easy to care for. Any type of Monstera is, and they're so easy to propagate. Because again, they have them aerial roots that just love to root out and attach to things. Because actually in the jungle, these plants will grow up things, and that's what they use them aerial roots to do. And that is to wrap around like tree trunks and just, you know, grow and live their best. So I'm literally just like placing this sphagnum all around the cut-in so it's nice and moist for it. And I like to let the sphagnum moss totally dry out before I re-water. I know some people like to keep it moist all the time, but I just think if there's a dry period, it's going to stop any plant, whether it's in soil, leca, fucking sphagnum, it's just going to reduce any chances that the plant's going to get root rot and just start rotting. And that is why I do love water propagations, like propagating in water, but there you go. And then I'm going to stick that under my grow light and it will root, and then I'll put it in some soil. Maybe I won't, maybe I'll put it into leca. So let's move on to the real good stuff of the evening, if I don't break it. So again, my Scindaptus pictus, my wonderful plant. So I just chopped this off my mother plant, which is up there hanging. I cut a few vines off, they'll grow back. It's coming up to summer too. Now, this time of the year isn't the most ideal time to be taking propagations, but I don't really care. I do it all year round. So what you want is, can you see these aerial roots I'm always talking about? So they're gonna grow up. They're gonna grow roots, and then you could be able to put them in soil. So you wanna just get, so here's a node, and then here's a node too. These have been sanitized. Make sure your scissors are sanitized. I don't always, never done anything. But you want to just get, you see that node there? So them little roots, get underneath that. There you go. So you see their little roots on the end there, and they're going to come through. And then I'm just going to do the same thing up the whole plant. And just see how we go, really. And then we have some new leaves here. The thing is, when propagating plants and it has like new growth like that, don't be shocked if it dies. Because obviously it's very young, they're very immature plants. So again, just taking them cuttings, they're very immature, and more often than not, they probably won't root just because they're not established. So for that reason, I'm going to keep these 3 little cuttings together. I'm not going to separate them into 3 cuttings just because I feel like it will stand a better chance, you know? So again, I'm just going to take my scissors, my sanitized scissors, and then, and then just, there we go. So we have a load of cuttings now. And then literally, I'm gonna put the wet stick thing, because this is called a wet stick. So when you have like, you're right, when you have like a piece of a plant that has no leaves and it's just kind of stem or root or something, that's often called a wet stick. And that's like a really good way to get really like rare plants on a budget. So like say for example, you wanted like a variegated monstera or any type of philodendron that really vines out and does really well with like rooting, you can buy a wet stick. Honestly, if there's like plants that are harder to propagate that are marketed as like wet stick, I don't know, for example, what did I see on the internet the other day? I saw some type of plant that I know is really hard to get a wet stick of because they're really hard to propagate, period. Like calatheas. I love calatheas, but they won't propagate unless you divide them, and that's a whole nother video, and that's really fucking messy, and I'm really not here for it. But I'm literally just adding more sphagnum moss to my tray, just because the more sphagnum in there, the better. It's going to hold on to moisture a lot better. There is a whole tree in the sphagnum moss. Yeah, I'm not going to use that. Honestly, this is my first time using the Pets at Home Sphagnum Moss, and I wouldn't recommend it for plants. Maybe for animals. I mean, I've got animals too myself. Let me know in the comments or wherever. Post this or message me if you want to see more about my animals and how I care for them. So, as I was saying, I've got a leopard gecko, and I personally wouldn't like to, and I use sphagnum moss in their cage, but I use like the expanding one, like the cocoa fibre in his cage. I wouldn't feel comfortable using this sphagnum moss in my leopard gecko cage just because it's so sharp. But for plants, it'd be fine. So I just added some more, so it's a lot deeper and it's going to retain that moisture a lot more. And I'm going to pop that wet stick in there. And then what you do is you literally just place it on top like that, like this, and then you don't even really need to cover it. Just cover it really, the roots, just cover them really lightly with a bit of sphagnum moss. So I'm just gonna put these in here, and just propagate them. I hope they all fit. They probably won't, but who cares? And then when these are rooted, okay guys, so we're back using my iPhone video recorder because I just brought more storage because I'm fucking sick and tired of my phone keep telling me that I need more storage. Like, I've had it up to here and I'm about to lose my shit, so I just brought more. But as I was saying, I am going to try and like check in and show you guys like the updates of the plants, if they start growing, if they're rotting, if they're dying. I don't care. I'm going to try and keep like checking you guys and keep you guys updated in the loop. So I'm still just like whacking these into the sphagnum, and they're almost all like done. And I've really been wanting to propagate my Skindactus pictures for the longest time. I just never got around to it. These plants, when they're like fully grown, they require like no care at all. They really love to dry out. They love to go totally dry, and that's when they really thrive. They need like no fertilizer. I mean, you can fertilize, like I choose to fertilize, but it's totally optional with these plants. Like some plants I look at and I'm like, shit, like you really need fertilizer to thrive, but these don't. They will do better with a good fertilizer and a good fertilizing regime, but you know what, it's not make or break with these plants, whereas some plants it really is make or bloody break. So I'm just, you know, this is kind of what we got so far, and this has like a little dome, so it's like a propagation dome, and it literally looks like that, but I'm not done. And then it has like this sliding vents, and I really love these sliding vents. So you open them partially or close them, to suit kind of what you need. So I'd say like with the sphagnum at the moment, it's really, really moist. So I'm gonna leave them like a little bit open. So honestly guys, I'm at my wit's end with this whole storage problem. But yeah, like I was saying, I know this video has been so crazy and hectic and all over the place, but I am gonna try and do better to upload better quality videos, just because obviously I'm filming on my phone, which is fine, but if it keeps fucking telling me that storage is full, I won't be able to film much, and it's just very broken, so I do apologise. But honestly, I'm just starting, so what do you kind of expect, you know? But yeah, so honestly guys, I'm just gonna call it a day because I keep trying to sort out my storage and it's not working. But thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna try and work out my storage and get everything on check so I can just make better videos so you guys can enjoy them and enjoy the plants. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.